Big deal. That's always went with the territory. I'll see you in Disneyland.
My defense, because I am such a part of it. I mean, I obviously I'm going to bear the consequences, so why not bear the responsibility?
Okay, sir, is she still alive?
You're alive.
When was the last time you saw her?
Mama, I killed Dean.
Brian?
Ma'am?
What are you doing?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Hi, everybody. Welcome for another week coming back.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day to those moms out there.
Yes, we took last week off to spend time with our family. Hopefully everybody had a good Mother's Day. I did.
I had a really good Mother's Day. I had a really good Mother's week.
I ate the whole day on Mother's Day.
I heard your kids came over and cooked.
They cooked my my daughter and my son-in-law came over, and then they cooked brunch for us. And then later that night, I went to my brother and sister-in-law's house, and my nephew barbecued for us.
Oh,
I
my
was just
gosh.
in food heaven all day long.
That is so yummy.
It was wonderful.
I got to serve people at Starbucks their coffee, and I don't know
Did
if
you work on Mother's Day?
I worked on Mother's Day till 12:30.
You need to get rid of that place. What is wrong with you?
I love serving coffee, but Mother's Day is the worst day because I feel like women come in, and you're a mom and I get it. You get a day off, but don't come in and treat us like crap
Oh, yeah.
because you're feeling entitled that day.
Exactly. You're not my mother, and
yeah.
I'm not your mother. So
Thank you. And I'm like, and I'm here on my Mother's Day, and like, just
Yeah.
smile. And people were upset because they're in a, okay. Always say, don't come to Starbucks if you're in a hurry.
I know.
Never come to Starbucks on a Saturday morning and a
Cracks
Sunday
me
morning.
up how many people do that where they're just like,
I'm in a
either
hurry.
inside or in the drive-through, and I'm like, what?
So, okay, maybe we went on too long. So let's,
Anyway,
but there is big news happening this past week.
yes,
A big, huge trial and
we
a lot of stuff going on.
We haven't even like in person talked about. We haven't even really like texted about it.
No,
a lot.
nothing.
So I don't really know. This is another one where like I don't really know where she stands on this case, and she doesn't know where
No.
I stand on this case. So do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? What do you want?
Okay, well, I won't. How about, okay, so if anybody out there,
We're talking about the
Karen
Karen
Reed
Reed trial.
her trial, and it's her retrial because
We're
the
not
first
gonna,
one,
okay, so we're not going to go over the case. We're not going to talk about what happened, but I do want to suggest that if you aren't familiar with the Karen Reed case, go to Annie Elise's podcast is Serialously, or on YouTube, she's 10 to Life. She does a whole breakdown. She covered this case like a year or two ago, and she's doing like live updates because her retrial is going on right now.
Yeah.
So she does like many videos that are covering everything. She does.
yeah, and
she
it's
has it all.
it's a huge case.
Yes.
So we couldn't even start to finish probably do it in 30-40 minutes.
No, not at all.
It is so huge.
No, it would be multiple episodes.
yeah, because there's a lot that goes on with it. So
if you're not familiar,
yeah.
don't watch this episode because
Don't.
We're
gonna be all over the place.
You're gonna be lost.
Yeah, but the overview is like this woman's going to trial because they think that she's being accused of killing her husband.
Yeah.
It happened in Massachusetts, outside of Boston, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was accused of running him over and killing him in the snow. And there's video of it, but he is a police officer, and he had gone to this party, and at the end of the party, he ends up dead. And there's a lot of conspiracy that surrounds this case.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think it was people in the force.
Right.
That is
it was
covering up.
kind of set up.
It was set up for him to be murdered.
Right.
And she just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
I'm assuming because they can't really know that she was going to show up. She doesn't even think she hit him. She just found him in the snow outside of this house. But her headlight got hit. It's a huge case. And there's a whole huge breakdown on it. And there's people in saying that she did it. And there's people saying, nope, she didn't do it. And it's a whole huge breakdown. And some people, after the first trial, because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on it, some people in the first trial, they watched it and they thought, oh yeah. When they first heard about the story, they said she killed him. Like she literally ran him over and she purposely killed him. And after they sat through that trial, they came out saying she didn't do it. So what do you
This is
think?
like most of the time on a case like this, I'm usually like pretty like yes or no. I'm pretty dead set on like, I'm so in the middle on this case. There's so many things that lead me to believe that she is absolutely innocent. I think that it is, so they have the video. Okay. They have the surveillance video of her backing up. Now, whether or not this is the question is whether or not her tail light was broken prior to this or not. Okay. So it's kind of hard to tell if she actually, because there's a car parked there. It's kind of hard to see if she hits that car or she hits something. It's very hard to tell because it's snowing and like whatever. So you can't really tell. What is suspicious to me is that the actual pieces from the tail light weren't found until the next day. Like, but they had this was after they found the body and blah, blah, blah. Then they come back again a second time. And now we're finding evidence. That is very suspicious to me. Also,
well, I think the way they collected the evidence is very suspicious
in
too.
a red Solo cup.
And they didn't say where exactly they found the stuff. They said, oh, it was in the vicinity. Where was it? You take pictures, you mark it, you mark it, you take the pictures.
For being police officers, it was a pretty shoddy job.
Yeah, not even like literally he's supposed to be the investigating, collecting the evidence. There is another guy that's breaking it down too. His name's Detective Ron, I think, or what is it?
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
I'll try to find the name, but he's an officer and he's actually got another investigative officer that they break down the trial every day. And one of the guys said like, this is the guy who's an actual investigator who does this for a living says this guy who does it for a living, like literally no one's going to tell me on my crime scene what I'm seeing and what I'm not seeing and how to collect my evidence. Yeah. It's my crime scene. I don't care if you are the mayor, if you are the lead detective, if you are like, the sheriff, I don't even know the order of, the chief of police. He says, when I get there to collect evidence, no one's going to come into my crime scene and tell me what to do because it's my crime scene. I collect the evidence. Nobody does my job like I do my job. I know how to do my job. He said that guy who got up on that stand, and I can't remember his name. I should have wrote it down, who they were grilling. Yeah. And it was freaking embarrassing. You guys got to go back and watch this guy getting grilled who's an officer.
Oh my God.
But it's embarrassing. He did not do his job.
No.
And this guy said, it's shady as hell that the way he did it. But they were asking him questions like, did you do the cross coordinates of where it was located or something like that? And he's like, and I'm going to say something like that because I'm that's not my job. I don't know what things are called. But he was asking him and he's like, I don't even know what that is. How do you not know what that is? He's saying, I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm. That's like asking you, do you know what an IEP is?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Special education. Do you know what autism is? I've
never heard of that before.
Kind of don't know. Yeah. Do you know how to scaffold instruction? Yep. Sure don't know how to do that. Yeah. What is scaffolding? Like literally definitions from your job. He did not know. He didn't want to answer.
Of course not. Of course he doesn't, because there's no answer that's going to be good. There's nothing that he's going to be able to say that is going to make him out to be a good person at this point.
At that point, it seems like they did plant the evidence because they're sort of like, where did you find it? Like they didn't take pictures of where they found the evidence.
Yeah.
They just collected it.
then
supposedly.
also something that stood out to me was the fact that he had a bunch of marks on his arm, which they are saying that could have been caused by a dog because they had a dog in the house.
The officer who died.
Yes. So the house where the party was at, they had a dog in there. And if the dog obviously attacked him, that would prove that he was in the home, that he went into the home, because that's the big hang up right now is, did he ever make it into the home?
Yeah,
She said that I dropped him off. I didn't see him go in the house. So the whole hang up is like, did he actually make it into the house? So this is an indoor dog. So if he would have been attacked by this dog, then obviously he would have made it into the home.
It was proof that he went into the home, because she says that she dropped him off. That she didn't want him to go to this party. She dropped him off. She was pissed off. She left, and then she was calling him all night because she was pissed off. And I mean, she doesn't sound nice in her voicemails at all.
No,
that she's leaving him, but she's pissed. Like,
and
half
she's
the time
drunk. Like she's so drunk. And not that it's right or wrong that she's drunk, but you have to take that into consideration when you're listening to these voicemails, when you're reading these text messages. You have to take that into consideration that she was like way over the legal limit at this point, like way far over the legal limit. So I'm sure that has something to do with, you're drunk and you're pissed off. Like, okay.
And she's accusing him of cheating.
Exactly.
Who he's over there with. She's pissed.
Yeah. So you can only imagine what her voicemails must sound like. But that dog has now been rehomed to another state. And the basement, I believe, something in the house was redone, and then the house was sold. So
Convenient.
I think that, and again, but then playing devil's advocate, if something like that happened at my home or somebody's home, a lot of people would not want to live there anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to take that into consideration as well. Do these people really want to stay in this home? Because now you have looky-loos coming by all the time. You have, whatever the case may be, or you just
a murder
just,
wasn't
exactly,
supposedly
bad juju. Maybe you just don't even want to be there anymore. So I get that too.
Because they're claiming, the defense is claiming that there was a fight between the officers. In the home, in that something happened inside the home and he was killed, whether it's on accident, on purpose, and that his body was sent outside, or maybe he walked outside and collapsed. I have no idea how he got outside, but
he had, correct me if I'm wrong, he didn't have any, like, after the autopsy was done, he didn't have any like injuries that would have caused him like hypothermia, but like he had no injuries of like being hit by a car or or any blunt force trauma, nothing like that, right?
Yeah, not that I heard or read.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I mean, and it was freezing cold, like so obviously you're gonna freeze to death at this point. But like his arm there was blood, so like there was they were saying that was from a shattered glass or something that they found later along with the taillight.
Yeah, it's funny how they didn't find a lot of this evidence and I don't know. It's just, there's a lot to this case that makes you think. You don't want to think that there's a department out there that's willing to throw a person under the bus who didn't do a crime.
It happens, unfortunately.
It's just, and
probably a lot more than we know.
Some of the videos I'm watching on people who are covering the case and covering the crime, they're talking about how embarrassing this department is with their police work, their story, what is happening with this. It's just so bizarre that I'm waiting for the movie to come out.
Right. I mean, no matter if you think that she's innocent or guilty, I think one thing that everybody can agree upon is that it was poorly investigated. I think everybody can agree on that. It was shoddy police work. It was not investigated well at all.
No.
And you know, there are certain things. Now I'll go on the other side, where, you know, the girls that she was with said that at one point she was saying, I hit him, I ran him over.
But I think because she was drunk and she went over there in, I think, early morning. It was like it was probably past 3 a.m. It was super early morning. She went over there because she went looking for him. This is her story. And she honestly did believe that she might have hit him, but not on purpose. Like, she backed up, she heard something, and then he was there in the ground. And she's like, I didn't like the way she saw it. She thought like maybe I hit him.
Right.
Because it looked, you know, like, I guess when you're drunk and you feel something and you're like, oh, but I don't. Yeah.
I mean, they even checked the car. So they towed the car, they checked it, they made sure that like the backup cameras and like when you back up and it beeps when there's something, like all that was working on the vehicle. Everything was intact, like all of that. But again, I feel like
I think that's why they think she did it on purpose. Because, okay, your alert goes off. You know you're backing up. You know you're going to hit him on purpose. But
I know that like sometimes you get used to certain things, right, in your car. And I'm playing devil's advocate here. Like, you get used to hearing that like beep, 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 beep. And you know, like, okay, I'm not close to anything. Like, and you just kind of ignore. It's just like a sound that you just hear all the time. So it could have been working. And maybe she was just like, whatever, there's nothing back there. Like,
yeah. Well, she's wasted, so too.
Yeah. But. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot, I think, on both sides that it can, I mean, reasonable doubt. It's just like,
I think because the first trial, they couldn't come to a consensus. So it was a hung jury, correct?
Right.
That's why they retried it. Was it because it wasn't that she was found not, because if she was found not guilty, they can't retry her.
I was listening to an interview with one of the jurors, and I think there was a misunderstanding. So I think it was on something about like the different counts that she was being charged with.
Yeah.
He said that it was like that everybody found her not guilty of like one specific thing, but then it was something else where they got caught up, I think. So I think for the most part, the jurors in the first trial pretty much felt like she was innocent.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine being on that. Like, I don't know if I would even want to be on that jury.
It sounds really confusing, but to me, it's like, if you have any, like you said, beyond, there's reasonable doubt, you don't convict.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't convict O.J. Simpson, you're not going to convict Karen Reed.
There you go.
I feel like, but I don't know. It's so hard. I go back and forth too on it, but I want to say that they're setting her up. I really do. I think she speaks very well. She comes out. Hasn't changed her story. She's very well spoken. They trust her enough to come out of the courthouse every day and make a statement or not make a statement.
Yeah.
She's talking to the press. She's always said she's been innocent.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I don't know why they're going so hard, and correct me if I'm wrong, on trying to get her on murder charges, because to me, it's like you do it with intention and malice and you meant to kill them. And if anything, if they went the route where, okay, involuntary manslaughter. She accidentally backed up her car
Right.
and hit him. Maybe they could have
They're trying to get her with second degree murder, right?
is it second degree?
I think it's second degree murder. I could be
I
wrong.
would say something more like involuntary manslaughter or something. I feel like something even of a lesser charge, they'd probably convict her on. It would have been easier
of course,
to convict her on.
Definitely.
But I think they're trying to really wrap this up and put a tight bow on it and put her away because they're trying to hide something.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're going so hard and strong after her. Like,
no, I agree. I definitely
and I know
agree.
it's because he's a cop, and no 187 on an undercover cop. We don't want that.
Yeah. Right.
My
Yeah.
song.
That'll be on the Patreon this week. No, I'm
Thank
just kidding. No, I agree. I definitely feel like I do lean more towards like she's not guilty. But it's just there's little things that just make you stop and think like, well, wait a minute. Like,
maybe it's because I'm not sitting in that jury and I'm not hearing the full facts. I should probably be watching the trial firsthand, but I watch it secondhand. I like to watch the commentary from it.
Yes.
I like to watch all the other YouTube video people watch it, and then I just kind of hear their commentary or do a little synopsis.
It's hard
because it's a lot of hours.
Oh yeah, and it's a very, very involved case. But what is hard is the whole conspiracy angle.
Yeah.
And if you've watched this channel long enough, I'm down for a good conspiracy. But in an active, ongoing case right now, that's very hard because you get those things stuck in your head and then you start to go down that rabbit hole. And then it's like, okay, hold on. I need to get back on track. Like, what are the actual real details? What is the truth? What is, and it's hard to like bring yourself back to that. To actually, so I'm, the jury has a very hard job, to try to figure this out, because if this lady really truly is innocent, that's really fucked up.
Yeah, no, for reals. And you know what? It's really hard for me to speak on it because I do see bits and clips, and I'm trying to, me, I go down the rabbit hole too, and I watch 3 hours of just the officer in his testimony and how embarrassing it is, and I'm listening to that, and then I hear just a small clip of, I guess, one of his friends or her friends who is saying she's lying. So I think somebody had gone up there and was testifying that she was lying.
Okay.
Because he never went into the house, and she's claiming he went into the house. And this friend is saying he never went into that house. So I feel it's one of those cases where I want to I think we need to deep dive into it. And I think it's going to be one of those where it is.
So if he was, it would be pretty simple, but probably not able to do now. But if he was in the home, wouldn't his DNA be in the home?
Yeah. But they didn't. We already know that the cop was
nothing was collected,
and that's what they were saying. They were saying most times the evidence leads you in a direction, but this one, they made the evidence. That's why he was so pissed, saying that it's my crime scene. No one's going to tell me what I find or what I do at my crime scene and where it's going to lead me. At this one, he's saying they made the evidence fit their theory,
of course,
as opposed to looking and letting what they're finding lead them to a theory of what happened, or lead them to the facts.
Right.
Because usually the evidence will lead you in a direction where it's telling you what happened. And he's saying that, no, what they did is they went around and only picked and choose which evidence they were going to catalog and what they were going to use to fit their narrative and their story of what happened. And
no, I think that's true. And the one thing that just sticks out to me that I just keep going back to is the tail light. Like, you go there, you find his body, but mind you, like the weather is awful. It's
cold,
snowing.
snow.
So if they were going to find the broken glass, if they were going to find the taillight, don't you think that would have been found with the body, not the next day after it's snowed again, after like, you know what I mean? Like, that is very suspicious to me.
Well, I would think like you close off a crime scene and you collect everything right after it happens, and there's really no having to go back. So the thought where these officers are like, oh, we're going to go back and collect more. What more are you going to collect? Didn't you collect it all on the first night?
Yeah.
And so that leads me to think like, yeah, like you said, they're planting shit.
Yeah.
They're putting stuff there that wasn't there originally. And it's not a whole group of people looking at him while they're doing it. Well, it's just him going back, you know?
Right. And what would be really telling is to know if her taillight was broken prior to this or not, because that would that would solve a lot right there, right? But again, we don't know that. So it's very back and forth, and I think it's supposed to last like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah. And it's a long trial.
Yeah. And there's so much evidence. So if anybody is familiar with this case and you guys have any opinion either way, guilty, innocent, whatever, if you have a theory, please let us know. Please put it in the comments. We would love to hear from you guys.
Help us make sense of it.
Yeah. This is just our take on
really
it from what we know about it. Again, if you haven't, and you're not familiar with the case, go check out Annie Elise's podcast, because she does a great job at breaking every single thing down. Because there are a lot of people involved. There's a lot of names. There were a lot of people in that home. There's brothers and sisters. There's just a bunch of different people, and she kind of maps everything out and explains who is who and how they're related, and these are friends and these are brother and sister, this is husband and wife. So it'll give you like a better picture of, you know, who was there, involved,
who was involved.
Right. But yeah, if you guys have, you know, maybe you have your own theory, your own conspiracy, I would love to hear it.
Yes.
So yeah, make sure and put it in the comments. Yeah, I don't really know. I guess we'll just have to keep following it.
Jury comes back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. This will be definitely a case that we will keep on top of, and, you know, kind of update as things start to come out. And we'll just, you know,
we'll see where it goes. Going, and see if she's guilty, found guilty, not guilty, and maybe it's so, like you said, it's so many pieces and everything. We don't write books. We don't, you know, it's just, it would be something where, like Annie Elise, where she's every single day on talking about it and breaking it down, because to wrap it all up and try to give a simple, easy version of it, because it was hard even going on YouTube for me just to find somebody to give me a synopsis of the story from the first trial to compare it with the second trial. It was hard to find, because it's really just a lot of news outlets that give snippets of information, or they're streaming the trial because people are so into it. And now you got Court TV where you can see the trial from start to finish. But to get a nice synopsis of it, it's going to take a lot of writing and a lot of organizing, because it's fluid. There's a lot of things changing. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people involved, like you were saying, and it's going to be a challenge. But maybe I might try it, to sit down, kind of like Annie Elise did, but she did it from the beginning, and that's what helps. She did it from the first story, and to go listen to her podcast
every single day, like something new's coming out.
Yes.
So if you listen to something that was put up a week ago, you're behind already.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you have to be so on top of it, because it's an ongoing case.
It's very fluid. Yeah. And what happened last week could have already been disputed, dismissed, proved to be not true, or whatever it could be. It might be irrelevant to the case at this point, a week later.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to
keep on top of everything.
To keep on top of it. It's huge. So, but it's definitely a story that I'm interested
It's
in.
very interesting, yes.
Because of the conspiracy part about it with the law enforcement. And we know that there's rotten cops out there. And we know that there's people who cover up and they do these things, but it just still blows my mind that it's still happening in 2025.
Yeah.
So it's just
for sure.
So
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another week, and we will be back next week.
Yes, we will. Thank you. Bye.